if you are a huge, big Witcher fan, you just love the Witcher Saga in all of its aspects, I would recommend you turn off this review now, because this is going to be a Time of Contempt review, which is the 4th book in the Witcher Saga, and let me tell you right now, I didn't enjoy it. And I loved the first 3. Go back and watch my reviews. I thought they were fantastic. Last Wish, I think, is some of the best fantasy of all time. And the second 2 after that, I thought were really good installments. I was loving the character and the story and what was happening and why it was happening and building this larger world slowly. Then A Time of Contempt came along, and it was like, let's blow all that goodwill. Now, before I say that, there were aspects that were tolerable. You know, it was the same stuff I'd like. Like, I liked the character of Geralt, Yennefer, Ciri, Dandelion. All of them I like. After that, not really much to like about this. All right, so what don't you like about it, Andy? Let's be more specific. Okay, first of all, this book, like, straight away, I think in the first 2 chapters, if I'm remembering correctly, have like long extended periods where just a group of people are around a map or around a table and just tell you stuff. Like, the first part, I think, is the like Council of Nobles or Council of Kings, and they just go over all the like political geography and discussion and like possibilities. That's like a huge chapter is just like, well, we could do this. We could kill Ciri, and then, no, we could marry her to someone. You want to marry her to someone, don't you? Yes, I want to marry her to somebody. Like, and it's like a shit ton of names of countries and people and kings and all this stuff that's just thrown at you. Like, this is the situation, this, which we have some hints of, like Nilfgaard, blah, 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 in the other books. But like, this one is just like literally people sitting in a room talking about it. Okay, you do that once, whatever, I'm kind of, brought in, okay, fine. Then the next chapter is Ciri, like, doing the same thing, like, laying out a map and being like, so what's this? Why is it like this? Why is this important? And, like, that's not the way to set up stuff, Sapkowski. I don't know, he had done such an amazing job for the first 3 books. And then he's like, all right, so now it's time for a lecture. Sit down, I'm gonna give you a couple lectures on my world that I've created. It was so frustrating, because that was part of this, the world building and like how we were integrated into the world through the characters was done so well in the first 3, like, let's just throw that all out the window. Then it gets even worse, because then we just have Geralt meeting Yennefer and like they get together, which is cool, but then like most of the book is them at this cocktail party. Like, legitimately, that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but they're at a cocktail party. Like, and you're just like, Geralt meets this person, then he meets this person and talks to this person, then this person and talks to that person, then this person and talks to that person. And you're supposed to know after each of those interactions who the people are, what they stand for, if you like them, what Geralt thinks of them, what Yennefer thinks of them, how they are involved in this whole world. And it's like, it's just conversation after conversation after conversation. And listen, the irony is not lost on me. Well, I don't think it's irony, which I'll get to in a minute. That like someone who likes Malazan, which like part of the way that we, meaning fans, usually sell it to people is like, there's this huge world, you don't know everything, but like you're introduced to it like very well as like a new person. Like, it's hard, but the whole world is so unique and so large and so built out that eventually you get this really cool discovery out, that's one of Malazan's big things. And that, like, it's okay, you're going to be lost for a little while. And I want to specify that is not what I'm saying about A Time of Contempt. I can't believe I forgot that, because he uses that phrase a billion times. Like, I understand, this is the title, you want to get this across, but Time of Contempt, that's a separate. Anyway, I'm not saying it's like Malazan, where it's like you don't know, but like you're with characters that either you like or you understand the characters and you're following them through and you're kind of, you're in on their knowledge and you're slowly piecing everything together. This is just like a checklist of information that he is telling you, Sapkowski's telling you over and over and over again. And like the first like 70% of this book, that's what this book is. Like, information, check. Then on top of this, like, in my opinion, very clunky storytelling, there is an over-reliance, in my case, on showing sexual violence as, like, a way to communicate that this world is fucked up. Like, especially at the end when Ciri, this is, so semi-spoilers, if you're watching this review, you've probably read this book. I'm gonna assume you read this book. If you haven't, maybe click off. But when Ciri gets into the desert at the end, like, everything is like, Ciri's about to get raped. Ciri's about to get raped. Hey, Ciri might get raped. And like, that was already after like references to people being raped earlier, and like Nilfgaardians raping people, and Nilfgaardians torturing for fun, and like raising people to the ground. Like, it's just like everything is grimdark. And so I haven't said this before, I'm gonna make a video on grimdark. I think that's a terrible like name and trope, or whatever you want, genre designation, because it doesn't tell you anything about it, and most times people aren't really specific about what they mean. Usually when people say grimdark, they just mean like sad stuff happens, or like there's references to torture, you know, that kind of thing. I can't even describe it, because grimdark is just not well described. I don't like talking about grimdark. But if anything was going to be described as grimdark, it would be A Time of Contempt. It's literally just like, this world is completely fucked up. Every single person you meet is going to want to rape young women, or you know, join the army and kill people, or curse at you, or kill witchers, or superstitious, like everyone. It's one thing to say like, at the core of humanity, we are all like prideful, selfish, looking out for one another. And it's another thing to say like, everyone is like as evil as they could be. And that's the feeling that I got. Sapkowski wanted to communicate to you in Times of Contempt, just like anything goes. Oh, and it's just, it's so sad, because there's still elements of stuff I like. There's still moments, especially with Geralt and Yennefer, that I loved. And like when Geralt tells Yennefer that he loves her in this big like climax, like, I love that. Ciri, like on her own in the city, and like getting to know her own like power, and like her saving people from the dragon, or whatever it actually was, the big lizard, like, or the basilisk, there we go. Like, I thought that was really interesting and fun. But it's so few and far between in this work. I am interested about Nilfgaard and the Emperor and his plans, and sort of that whole aspect that we're slowly getting in on. Like, I thought the chapter where we were in the throne room there with the fake Ciri was very interesting. But honestly, overall, this was a slog. The only positive I have to say about this is that the audiobook performance, which I don't know the name, I should have looked that up before saying this, was very good. I listened to this very quickly. I listened to it in 2 days because I had a lot of house projects, and so I looked up something that I really wanted to listen to distract me from like painting and a lot of stuff I was doing. And so I listened to it all through a weekend, and I was excited that like, oh, I'm gonna get this like great story, because I love the Witcher stories, and so I was like, yes, this is gonna be great. I'm hardly gonna think about all this work that I'm doing because I'm having so much fun listening to this. And man, oh man, it was a slog. I was so excited to be done with it, because it was just like, ugh, you felt dirty reading it, or bored, or both. I didn't like this. Now, I'm not going to give this a skip it, obviously, because I said there's elements to this, and as you know from my other books, I really do love the Witcher Saga. I will be going on, so this is definitely a second category for me, which is if you like X, and I think the sequels are pretty easy because it's if you like the Witcher Saga, obviously you should read this. Keep going. There's going to be elements you like, grin and bear it. And I've heard from other friends that I've asked about this, that like Baptism of Fire and the other books are not like this. This is definitely the worst Witcher book. I am going to take this as an outlier and hope that Sapkowski does better and rewards me with that faith in the coming books, because this was, oof, bad. Bad. I feel nothing but contempt for that book. Sapkowski will like that because he uses the term contempt like every other sentence. Anyway, did you read this book? Do you agree with me, not agree with me? Tell me some. I'm coming fresh. I finished this yesterday, so my anger is still fueled, as you can probably feel. So maybe I'm being too harsh on this. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but also I'm hoping a lot of people in the comments are like, yeah, it's shitty, but hey, it's gonna get better for the next book. That's what I'm hoping you guys say to me. Anyway, please check out my Patreon, support me and the channel. My anger is everywhere, I can't even think. Anyway, first in, last out.